Hey, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to get into the topic of what place do you fit in somebody's life? Now, I wanted to go into this topic because I had a discussion with somebody recently about how they wanted somebody to fit in their life in a certain position, and that person didn't necessarily, I'm going to guess, I'm not going to say didn't want them in their life, but at the same time, didn't want them in that same position that the person who I was speaking to wanted that person in their life. So, not to get confusing, person A wanted that person in their life in a certain capacity, and person B didn't want them in that same position in their life. Though they may have wanted them in their life, they didn't want them in that same position. So, and I wanted to, it made me come up with the topic of kind of discussing why that is or how that works. And generally speaking, seeing where you fall in somebody's life, or the place that they want to fit you into their life. So one thing that a lot of people sometimes don't really think about is you can only be what a person has available in terms of the space in their life. Now, we all make slots or spaces in our life in terms of what we want someone to be. We have a list of spaces for friends. We have a list of spaces for maybe people who are a little bit more than friends, but maybe under boyfriend girlfriend status. Then we have places of boyfriend girlfriend status. Then we have the people who we actually say, if you are single and or maybe you're dating somebody and you say, this is the space for where I'd want someone to go more than that. This is the space where I have close friends that maybe I consider family. This is the space where I have in my life where it's just acquaintances that I see on the surface, maybe at work or at school, whatever the case is. So you get the idea. And sometimes you might have a space in your life that you say, um, I only have room in this space for maybe a friend at a distance, maybe someone I call on the phone every now and then. But and this is notorious that a lot of people actually do this when you really think about it, where they might say, I want a pen pal. Maybe I only got space for someone I can talk to on the phone when I'm bored. I hit up in text messages when I'm at work, but maybe don't have space in their life for something closer. And then another person who might be on the other end of that might say, I was hoping that I was going to get a lot closer to this person, maybe even become a dating status, or something maybe beyond that. And it's really important to understand what position someone has in their life for you to know if that works for you or not, because then comes the question of, does it work for you or not? So if two people are not relatively in sync with the position that they hold for somebody in their life, or at the least, um, you understand the position they have for you and you accept it for what it is. If that's not the case, then be mindful to understand that there's going to be conflict. So, just to give an example, i- a situation where the position for each other is somewhat similar. If you have a position in your life, we'll say each person, generally speaking, just for an example, but say if a person has 20 slots in their life, obviously anyone has as many slots they want to have, or as little slots they want to have for people in their life. But say, generally speaking, everyone has 20 slots inside their life between, this is just me making up a number for easy example. And you will say your bottom five, your 15 to 20 is just kind of casual friends that you kind of hang out with every now and then, and this other person wants to put you in between um the 10 to 14 spot, which is maybe close friends that they like to hang out with. um Sometimes that would work if you having them in your 15 to 20 spot every now and then might say, I can hang out every now and then. And that other person might be like, cool, I'm cool with that. And even though it's not as much they want from you, they're cool with that. Sometimes things like that work. Now, if someone's trying to put you in their top five and you have a space for them in your top 15 to 20, then you're going to run into this really huge conflict where they're going to get disappointed that you aren't, um, you know, that you aren't. placing them in the same space, and there's going to be a little bit of tension, or maybe a lot of tension in that case. So, I mean, comment down below if you've experienced that. If you were on whatever side of that you were on. Were you on the side of it that someone was in your life that you didn't want them to be in a position that they wanted to be in? Or were you on the other flip side of it where you wanted to be in a position in someone's life and they didn't have that space for you available? But just understand that. So when people kind of get mad or whatever the case is, just understand people have available space in their life for certain people. And this is another key aspect that I want to touch on is that available space. So if they've got, imagine like you've got little tokens lined up on a table, from one end to the other end, however many there are, that's like as many slots as a person might just happen to have in this example. And you might think, oh, well, there's no empty slot or whatever the case is. When the right person comes along to occupy a certain spot in someone's life, they will squeeze that person in and bump someone else out of a certain position. So if a person says they don't have room for something in their life, also understand that that means they don't have room for that position for you. It doesn't mean they don't have room for that position in their life for someone else if the other person meets the qualifications that they're looking for. The same way that the role might be reversed, you might be on the other side of it, and someone else doesn't have a position for you. You might not have a position for someone else until the right person comes along that makes you go, yes, for this person, that position, there's a spot for them, but not for this other person who wants the same position. They just don't qualify in regards to what it is that you're looking for. So just throwing that concept out there, like I said, because I had that discussion with somebody and they kind of really didn't understand why this person wasn't trying to allow them to be in that space. And I kind of went about into the conversation tackling the idea that people have places in their life for positions that they have available in their life, and they're not always going to be available to everybody. So just something to keep in mind and think about. Like I said, comment down below if you have experienced something like that or whatnot. And as always, you guys take care, be safe, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.